Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today I'll be talking about some Bill Cowher rumors. But before we get started, just wanted to mention you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to the podcast. New episodes drop every Wednesday. Also, a little bit of housekeeping before we get into the Bill Cowher rumors. Obviously, yesterday morning I released a video and I defended Marcus May and was saying that, he stood up for his teammate and he kind of threw Greg Williams under the bus, so to speak, but I thought it was justified. So Greg Williams would later yesterday get fired, which I guess a little surprised with. Was it a fireable offense? Yeah, but I figured, he's just going to get fired at the end of the year anyway with Gase. Just a couple of thoughts on that. Because I don't want to do a whole separate video on it because I'm pretty much just going to repeat what I said in yesterday's video. But if you didn't see it, no, he was not purposely trying to lose. That's exactly what Greg Williams does. He's an over-aggressive and stubborn defensive coordinator. So while it was an awful call for him to make that decision, it's not very off-brand for him. And for those who are afraid because Adam Gase pulled the plug on him and thinking that he's going to return because he still has power, no, it's just a lame duck coach firing a lame duck coordinator. It's not a big deal. There's only 4 games left. On January 4th, the day after the New York Jets and the New England Patriots matchup in Week 17, Adam Gase will get fired on what's called Black Monday, where coaches around the league tend to get fired. Adam Gase will get fired. I am very confident in that. I still don't think there's any way he's back next year, so I'm not too worried about it. I don't think you should be either. So let's talk Bill Cowher. Yesterday morning, Boomer Esiason on WFAN came on and strongly hinted that Bill Cowher is interested in the Jets job. He's not saying that he's going to take the Jets job, but from the information that he has working with him at CBS, it seemed like he's at minimum interested, and he did compliment Joe Douglas and the Jets on Sunday's show. So not super surprised. To be fair, we did hear this how many times with Bill Cowher and the New York Jets. In 2009, after they moved on from Mangini, in 2015, and in 2019, I feel like every time the Jets fire a coach, it's always Bill Cowher and John Gruden. John Gruden obviously wasn't around for the last couple, but ultimately here, it's something that we've heard before. It's not any of these new rumors, so I don't know how true they actually are, but I figured why not let's at least talk through and what the Jets could potentially be getting if they were to make that decision to hire him, and just what I think on all of it. So it's been 15 years since he's coached in the NFL. The last year that he coached in the league was 2006. Now, a lot's changed in the league since 2006. The league is a lot more pass happy, which is not something that Bill Cowher ever really did as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. In just 15 years as the Steelers head coach, he had only 3 losing seasons. He went 149, 90, and 1, a 623 win percentage. He was a really, really good coach. My only concern is if he would be able to A, adjust to where the league is now, and B, be able to rekindle that magic in a franchise that's not Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh they're one of, if not the best franchise in the sport because of the continuity they have. How long they had Tomlin forever, they had Cowher forever. They keep their coaches around for an extremely long time, and they're always, always good and always, always in the mix. So will he be able to replicate what he was able to do in Pittsburgh with the Jets? It's certainly a question. Maybe he could. So just a couple minutes ago, I mentioned his lack of passing in his offense. He loved to run the ball. Granted, he had a really good running back in Jerome Bettis, but let's look at his passing numbers with Ben Roethlisberger, who was a rookie quarterback in 2004, and then obviously a young quarterback in 2005 and 2006. They won the Super Bowl in 2005, but they really didn't throw that much at all, except for his last year with them together. In 2006, the Steelers were 9th in yards and 15th in attempts. In 2005, 24th in yards, 32nd in attempts. In 2004, as a rookie, Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers were 28th in passing yards and 32nd in attempts. So in 2 out of the 3 years that Ben Roethlisberger was on his rookie deal and a young quarterback with the Pittsburgh Steelers, they were last in the league in passing attempts under Bill Cowher. As a rookie in 2004, Ben Roethlisberger had just 1 game where he had over 30 passing attempts. Ironically, it was against the New York Jets in the playoffs when they would win in the divisional round. Every other game was less than 30 passing attempts. In 2005, he had 2 games where he had over 30 passing attempts. And then in 2006, there were 8 times where he had over 30 passing attempts. So gradually he moved up. My concern is that, yes, obviously Ben Roethlisberger developed into one of the best quarterbacks in football over his time, but I just don't know if you can do what he did with Roethlisberger in the early 2000s in 2020's NFL. I think a lot has changed, and if you're having your quarterback throw the ball 20 times a game, I don't know if you'll be able to survive in this league like that. Now, granted, he can adjust. I'm not saying that there's a 0% chance that he adjusts. I'm just giving you the information that we have. When he had a rookie first-round quarterback and what he was able to do with him in his first couple of years. There was a Super Bowl in 2005. Ben Roethlisberger was not really a big part of that Super Bowl. He was a game manager, and the defense and running game is really what took them, and that's the style that he likes to play. Could that work in 2020? Maybe a version of that. I think he would really have to adjust, though, and especially if you're going to use Trevor Lawrence. Like, you can't run the offense that he had in Pittsburgh in 2004, 5, and 6 with Trevor Lawrence in 2020. It's just not going to work in today's league. But some pros. He's a respectable coach. He's well respected around the NFL. He would bring respectability to the New York Jets. He has that tough guy mentality. He's always has that scowl on the sidelines. I remember, growing up, I knew him as the Pittsburgh Steelers coach before they transferred over to Mike Tomlin, and he always had that look on the sideline. He was an intense guy. He has a winning pedigree, obviously won a Super Bowl, and that team, again, was like always in the mix in the playoffs. A really good defensive mind. His defenses are always phenomenal. He played linebacker when he played, but a really, really good defensive coach. No denying that. And he was a good head coach. My small bit of concern is just if he's going to be able to replicate that now 15 years later. If the Jets were to do this, a lot of people will point to what the Jets did after Rich Kotite. So obviously Rich Kotite was the last Jets coach who was absolutely awful at this level like Adam Gase has been. And they went and hired Bill Parcells, who was a bona fide head coach, a leader of men, all those cliches that are true. And he really turned the franchise around in 97 through 2011. The Jets were a really, really good football team. Like there's no denying it. Yes, they never won a Super Bowl during that stretch, but they went to 3 AFC championship games and they were in the playoffs a ton over that stretch and really built that culture up. So that's what the comparison is going to draw to. And obviously I'm not necessarily opposed to building a culture like that. Here are a few examples of coaches who were away from the game for a really long time, came back and had a little bit of success. So Dick Vermeil left the Eagles in 1982. He would come back to take over the Rams in 1997. They would win the Super Bowl in 1999. So that one obviously worked out. Then you had Joe Gibbs, who left the Redskins in 92, came back in 2004, and they had 2 playoff appearances in 4 years. So that was okay. And then the last one, the most recent one, John Gruden left the Buccaneers in 2008. He returned a decade later in 2018, 4-12, 7-9. Now they're 7-5, but it looks like they're trending in the right direction. Got to be honest, I was not a fan of the Gruden hire, but he has started to prove me wrong a little bit. He's been good the last couple of years. I will give him that. But I think this idea, it's not completely crazy. I don't hate it. It's not my favorite. If the Jets were to do this, I definitely see the logic behind it. I think it could be a low floor as well, though, just because you could make the case that maybe the league passed him by, but there's no denying that he would bring a respect level. And really, it depends on what coordinators he would bring into. I have no idea who he'd want to bring in. I'm just basing this off of what we heard today on the radio, but an interesting rumor. Again, not my favorite option for the head coaching position, but definitely not at the bottom for me either. So we'll see if this has any legs. I would be surprised, but hey, you never know. NFL, weird things happen all the time. Let me know what you think about Bill Cowher down in the comments below or on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. If you're new, please make sure to subscribe. I'm Matt O'Leary, and I will talk to you next time.